be any other place than right here, right now. Why? Because, I wasn't flown in from, across the country. I wasn't, some professional motivational speaker that's coming down here, and from Hollywood. No. I'm from right here. And I came from an alternative school. That's where I came from. And so to speak, I'm one of you. I'm here. So I wouldn't dare step foot on this property with any intentions on judging you. If anything, I'll judge myself before I judge you. And I'm sure I speak for all of the staff here when I say, man, that they love you unconditionally, but they love you too much to keep you where you are. As great as you are, as high as your expectations are, you're better than a lot of the decisions that you're making. Now, in my occupation and what I do, I'm in the juvenile halls twice a week. And when I'm in the juvenile halls, I speak to the young men and the young women. Some of you might know off of Kiefer Boulevard, because I know some of them. I got family members that are incarcerated. I'm a gang diversion counselor, gang diversion specialist. I might be the only gang counselor that you ever know of that is not anti-gang. Because see, anti means to push away. I want to draw the gang member near. I'm not anti-gang, I'm anti-pain, I'm anti-violence. Because you see, when somebody says gang, in the theater of my mind, I see the faces of loved ones and family members. So when somebody says, man, gangs are evil, when you say my father's evil? My brother is evil? Really? See, right there, the wall already goes up, but I am anti-violence, and I'm anti-bad decisions. I could ask you all right now, what kind of people go to prison? And some of you, whether you answered or not, you would think, bad people, wrong. Good people go to prison that make bad decisions. What kind of people go to prison? Well, people who are bad and have bad hearts. Wrong. Good people with great hearts go to prison that make one bad decision. Okay, listen, I'm a big fan of the scared straight process. But there's nothing more terrifying. There's nothing more scary. There's nothing more horrifying in your worst nightmares or any type of haunted house or movie you've ever seen than the truth and the statistics behind the truth. I can tell you the truth about me being at Preston IOM for over 4 years before they shut it down and me speaking to a 16-year-old boy serving 65 years. Yeah. That's terrifying. I'll take a haunted house while watching a horror movie over the vision of that outcome. And I asked that young man from Fresno, California, I said, bro, what happened and why? He said, bro, I was just kicking back. I was playing Xbox. I was with my homegirl. We was kicking. We were having a good time. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I got the phone call from the homies, the loved ones, the ones that, ride or die. He said, bro, they're at Jack in the Box. Right? I mean, plot, plan, and strategize. I mean, hello. If you're anti-violence, you have no business being a gang member. So he said, really? He said, round it up. He was sergeant at arms. He rounded up. Made a very tragic decision. Loaded up the homies. Now, mind, remember, 2 a.m. Saturday with this girlfriend, kicking it, having fun, doing his thing, playing Black Ops. Shows up at Jack in the Box. People start shooting. His bullet hits. He gets rolled up. I said, really? So what are you telling me? Well, why'd you do it? He said, for the block. I said, who's your block? He said, my homeboys. I said, when's the last time you seen your homeboys? He said, 3 months ago. I said, really? He said, yeah, when they were testifying against me. 65 years. I don't care how hard you want to act like you are, because I'm only human. And as big as bad as I might think I am, you get a little needle and poke me, I will bleed. Don't you ever start becoming so arrogant to think that when 65 years are thrown at you, the things that a man or a woman will do. And I could sit here and ask you, how down are you for your homies? How down are you for your homegirls? How down are you for your familia and your hood and your block? And all of you might come with a positive answer that sounds good in this atmosphere. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of homeboys that are like hard as nails, but when it comes to 65 years, they wouldn't throw a color crayon in a kindergarten right. Must have graded in Napa Valley. Listen. I learned my slang. I learned my slang from the homies in prison. Listen. I was just there 3 Saturdays ago. But that's real talk. Because listen, drugs, alcohol, violence. I hear you stealing that one. You could. What's that? Okay, take those. I got more, homie. So, you got everybody with the gangs and the alcohol and the drugs. Listen, let me tell you something. You know about the economy, right? It's hard to get a job. But I'm going to tell you something. Drugs, alcohol, violence, and gangs, and disrespect, and addiction, and broken homes, broken hearts, and broken promises are an equal opportunity employer. They'll hire anybody. And they're hiring. And business is booming when you step up to the plate and say, I don't care about my life. My mama put her boyfriends in front of me. My papa, man, he left. He was never there. So why should I care? Why don't I just follow the crowd without asking where the crowd is going? Why not? He did, and he did, and he did, and he did, and he did. Why not disrespect these beautiful, awesome instructors here? Why not? He did, and he did, and he did. Nobody wants to be authentic anymore. Nobody wants to be original. Why? Because you might sound silly. Because if you don't wear your mask, and you don't say what he wants you to hear, and he thinks it's cool, then you ain't cool. Really? What happened to being authentic? What happened to being original? What happened to saying what's on your heart when it's on your heart? What happened to forgiving and saying, I'm sorry? When did that become weak? Because I'll tell you something, we could all take a guided tour down Kiefer Boulevard or Juvenile Hall. We could all take a guided tour to Folsom State Prison. And you talk to some straight up hardcore killers, homeboys that have been locked up since 1979. You know what I mean? They wasn't driving. I know homeboys, have never been in a car with electric windows. Or 23-hour lockdown, shoe unit, Skeleton Bay. Pelican Bay, you might refer to it as. You're so deep in the hole, they got to pump you air. Why don't you try driving 9 hours just to go visit your homeboy through a television set? And then you ask him where following the crowd took him. You ask him where going against your morals and ethics took him. And they'll all tell you at the end of the day, man, they did it to follow the crowd. They did it to belong. And I have seniors that will say, man, I'm doing a school project, man. I want to know what gangs are all about. I say, wait a minute, what do you mean? What are gangs all about? Yeah, how did the gangs start? It's a puzzle. Addiction is a puzzle. Gangs is like a puzzle, and each piece represents something. Whether it's the poverty, or whether it's the lack of attention, or whether it's the environment, or whether it was your brother and you were born in it, or you were sworn in it in any way, shape, form, or fashion, your environment, you put that puzzle together, you look back, and it spells G-A-N-G-S. Or it'll spell D-R-U-G-S, or violence, or addiction, or insecurities. You know how it is to put that mask on. If I could put that mask on just tight enough, they ain't gonna know who I really am. They'll never find out at night when I lie in bed and I look up at the ceiling in the dark and I say, there's got to be more than this. There's got to be more than this. You got to realize how important you are. And each and every one of you were born with a treasure chest. And in that treasure chest is your passions. In that treasure chest is your desires or your gifts. Is your future and your destiny. And everything that this world has to offer you in the form of gangs and drugs and peer pressure, I call peer pressure the fear to say no. All those things, man, that's pocket change compared to what's in your personalized treasure chest. And you know how you open it? It's a key. It's in the shape of only your heart, and your heart alone can only open it. But so many people grow old, and as years pass by, that treasure chest does nothing but collect dust. Well, it looks back at you going, when are you going to open it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to be ready to hold your future in your hands and take off and be an original because you were not born a copycat, but you've been living like one? Listen, each and every one of you has no competition. Zero. Why? Because there's nobody on this planet Earth that could be better at you than you. You're one. Competition is none. Competition is none. So why in the world would you pretend to be him? Why in the world would you pretend to be her when you are one?